So, you found yourself in this clearing, taking a rest, healing up. And now I need to ask you what you are going to do. So, for people who have not been here for the D&D sessions before, the game works on a voting system. So by using !vote space and then whatever you would like to do, the system will count up all of the different suggestions that people have, and then we go with the option that is most selected with the highest count. So you know that this mission is time sensitive. You have expended resource that you will not be able to gain back until you finish a long rest, which is essentially camping overnight. So at this point, it is really up to you whether or not you want to continue on into the night with less resources or whether or not you want to rest and set out tomorrow. So I don't know if anybody wants to start us off with a vote here about what they think you would do in this situation, as the rest of the party is looking to you to guidance. For guidance, sorry. As this rest is taking place, the one that you're currently in, not a long overnight rest necessarily, there's a little bit of conversation that takes place, primarily between Roga and Trenk, as Trenk attempts to converse with Roga, Roga not really speaking the common tongue, but through a little bit of conversation, you find out that Roga is from a continent to the west, and has left his wife and children behind in search of something, but you're not entirely sure what that something is, as there is a significant language barrier between him and the rest of your group. But they seem to be more than happy to travel with you at this point in time to help keep you safe. Vote rest. Okay, so we'll go with that, with 4 votes. So just to remind everybody, you can change your vote at any time during the game by just voting again. I would like to try and have the system open as much as possible, so don't feel like you need to wait for me to prompt you for things. If you want to do something, just put it in a vote. Like, let's say we're walking along and you're like, okay, I want to listen out for potential predators in the bushes. And you just, like type vote listen for enemies or something like that. Then you can just do that. And then if anybody else decides that they want to do that as well, then they can also do that vote. And the list will just change itself. So I'll try that and see if we can get kind of like an ongoing vote going. If not, then I'll just keep clearing it. Okay, so you decide to rest overnight, setting up a rudimentary camp, setting a campfire for a little bit of warmth on what seems to be a fairly chilly. You imagine you're somewhere between spring and summer at this point in time, but nonetheless, the wind is fairly strong and you have to find some kind of shielding from it to find a comfortable night's rest, was as comfortable as you can possibly be, given the circumstances. You set up a watch rotation, each of you taking a couple of hours with a little bit of space in between, just enough to complete the rest, but also to make sure that you are not at risk of being attacked during the night by more of these nighttime predators that might be lurking in the bushes. The night passes with little event, paranoia high, but safe all the same. You wake up the next day. Let me change the thing. So, you still sit by this strange pool in the middle of nowhere. You take a few moments to eat, to gather your senses, and to use the water from the pool to clean yourself, cleansing wounds that are still left behind and still healing, and washing your faces and your body in general before you all armor back up and you proceed back outwards. So I am going to need to start us off here a survival check to see where the tracks might lead you further into the forest. So I'm going to open the dice roll. So if you want to enter, it's !dice to join the giveaway. And then it will randomly select one of you, and you'll be able to roll the dice, and we will see what the result is. I should also open the character sheet. Let me do that. For people who want to see our character sheet for the character, you can click on that link, and they'll bring that up for you as well. Okay. Okay. Do we have cicadas? We do. Turn it down nice and low. Okay. So, closing the giveaway. All right, Liquid Lad, Matt. Hit us with the roll, my friend. $17. Okay, so I believe our survival is a +5, so that brings us to a total of 22. An enormous roll to kick things off. So as you proceed further to the north, it doesn't take long before you pick up the tracks of the Vegapygmies that you had probably slain earlier, having come through this area the night before. It seems like it was a fairly new patrol that is definitely going back and forth between the area where you found them and possibly some area further into the forest, maybe, hopefully, where Hugo was taken. As you think this and as you look around, you can clearly see that there are drag marks of some larger creature that doesn't seem to fit the size and arrangement of limbs of a Vegapygmy. Possibly being one of the Thornies, you think, or even Hugo being dragged off into the night. There is one other thing that you notice as you survey the environment. You can see that there are various splinters littered around next to some of the trees and roots that litter the pathway further on through the forest. And it's not long before you find that there's a discarded wooden pike and signs of boot prints that also lead north. Not in the exact same direction, but more or less in that orientation further on. You know that this wooden pike is one of the items that was stolen from Hunter, which was your original inquiry, your original mission that you were tasked to take on. So there's a good chance that both of these missions may align as you continue traveling onwards. So I just want to double check with all of you. You are aware that the Vegapygmies and similar creatures are more active at night. Do you want to continue traveling on during the day or wait for nightfall again at this pool before you continue? So I'll leave the poll open. You can just do vote day or vote night. It's currently early morning. So to kind of summarize what you've discovered so far and what your knowledge and checks have uncovered, you do know that it will be much easier to find these creatures during the nighttime, but obviously that means that you're more likely to encounter them and have some kind of confrontation. So you're really weighing up daytime, which is safer for you, versus nighttime, which is going to give you more information. Hey, Go Turk. Okay, so it seems like most people at this point choosing to vote for day. Okay. So. You have a brief discussion among yourselves, your group, and you decide that, all things considered, as good as it would be, as nice as it would be to take your time to better examine the situation and the surroundings, carefully stalk and investigate, it is time sensitive, and any time you spend waiting is time that Hugo may not have. I don't remember why we need this dog. I mean, mostly because Hunter asked you to, and you obliged. Because it was the reason why Hunter was injured, was because they went out in the night and got caught in a bear trap. And also because dog. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love a dog? I love me a dog. Okay, so you proceed further into the forest. There's no map for traveling, but you're traveling for about another 30 minutes. At this point, you've traveled about 2 miles. Actually, no, probably between 2 and 3 miles. You're not entirely sure at this point in time. Away from Willowdale itself. So you are now in the thick of the forest. And even though the sun is shining through and there are the occasional breaks in the tree lines that reveal more open areas, for the most part, you are... where was I going with this? You are traveling under the shade of the trees. Just little bits of light managing to pierce through with fairly thin rays of the canopy. So what I'm gonna do is... I have to reset your resources real quick. So you've got your healing surge back, you've got your favored foe back, we're no longer tracking quivers, and you have your 3 spell slots back as well. And so does everybody else. Okay, so you continue on. It takes about another 30 minutes or so before you start to notice much more prominent tracks in the ground. However, you are aware that these tracks that you're following are diverging a little bit. So you have to your left, leading a little bit more towards the west, there are the footprints and the signs of potentially the thief. And off to your right, a little bit more towards the east, are the Vegapygmy tracks that are not going too far apart, but there's definitely enough of a split that you are wondering which direction you should travel first. So if you would like to vote, left would be to break off ever so slightly from the Vegapygmy tracks to see if you can find the thief, and right would be directly following the trail of the Vegapygmies. So I'll give a couple of moments to decide which direction you'd like to take. This does not mean you will not be able to do both. It's more which thing you're deciding to do right now. It doesn't seem like it's going to take you so far off the path that you're going to lose an abnormal amount of time. That's not really a concern that you have at this point. Okay, so deciding to move left and follow the tracks, you're traveling for about another 10 minutes. I need to ask if you are traveling quietly or normally. So if you want to change your votes once again, just if you are basically going to be stealthing, so quietly or normally, which will not require a stealth check. Hey Sean, good to see you, dude. Yeah, so maybe I'll be a bit clearer. So go vote stealth or vote normal. And we'll see which one comes up out front. Remember, you can always change your votes. If you mistype something or you're like, okay, I'll just bolster this vote instead, you can just vote again and it will change your selection. You don't have to worry about the veggie pig meats. I hate it, but it still sounds the same, so what can I do? Okay, so currently it's 3 and 3. We'll go for tiebreaker, so first to 4. If somebody would like to cast their vote to break the tie. I'm just going to stare at the screen and see what happens. Manifest change. We're currently 3-3. Any tiebreakers in the chat? Otherwise, we'll do a coin flip or something. A good old-fashioned coin flip. Okay, so normal coming out on front then. Okay, so thank you very much. Wait, did you just tie it again? No. Okay, we're still 4-3. Great. Great news, everyone. Okay, so deciding to pass through the forest normally, understanding that there may be other threats in the forest, but probably nothing at this point in time as deadly as the Vegapygmies, you proceed outwards. You're traveling for a small amount of time, and then you see that it opens up into a clearing of sorts. Slightly similar to the pond that you'd seen before, but obviously there's no pond here. On the other side of this clearing, closer to the tree line on the opposite side of it, there is a small hut of some kind that seems to have a shed attached to it, an annex. It's not a very big building, but even as you approach from this distance, about... I think you're about 30 to 40 foot away from it. You can very clearly see that the door is slightly open, and you can hear some kind of ruckus coming from inside. Not anything terribly loud, but the moving of objects and the shifting of objects coming from within it. Let me change the map. Okay. Maps. I think it's this one. Okay, let me just put up my screen real quick, in case I reveal something I'm not supposed to. Okay, and it's not actually nighttime anymore, so I can get rid of that. Is it adult material? No, nothing like that. Nothing like that, I promise. Okay, so it's actually daytime as well, so I can turn that off. Okay. There's our party. Perfect. All right. So, there is this hut a little bit of a distance away from you. You can hear that there's some kind of activity inside it. Oh, I can delete this layer now. But you're not entirely sure what it might be. What would you like to do? You could sit and wait, for example. You could approach the doorway and investigate. I'll give you a couple of seconds here to get it going. Okay, so people are now currently voting to approach. Okay, I'm going to reset the poll real quick. I need to know if you're going alone or not. So I'm going to reset the poll. Are you going as a group or are you going alone? You are aware of the merits of going alone means it's much less likely that whatever might be inside here is going to notice you coming. But the downside obviously being that if there's any kind of altercation, it will take a little bit of time for your companions to catch up to you. Okay. So deciding to go as a group then. I'm going to need a stealth roll from chat. Can we carry Trank? I think that would not make it quieter. I think that would possibly make it louder. Okay, so I'm going to roll the stealth checks for everybody else here. Which reminds me that I don't have their stats open. So I should fix that real quick. That's not the one. I need this one. So we have field medic. One of these. And then we have Roga. The turtle. Okay, I'm going to close the dice giveaway. Now, Casanthus, hit us with the roll, please. I think our stealth is +9. Okay, so 6 plus 9 is 15, so still a good roll, all the same. Let me just double check my stat here. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to roll for everybody else. Okay. That's a 4 +0. Roga. A little bit better. Dude, you know what? At least Trank is being very consistent. I'll put it this way. Okay, and then I also need Alden's thing. Yeah, Elok told you, and you didn't listen. What more can you say? Okay, and Alden, also pretty stealthy. So as a group, you are going to succeed on approaching this building undetected. As the three of you do your best to compensate and guide Trank as you move forward. It's not long before you find yourself quietly sneaking your way up towards this area. Okay. So I'm assuming you'll take a little peek inside as you have all managed to approach without alerting whatever creature or thing may be inside here. So we're going to need a perception check from you, chat. There is very little light entering into this hut. No worries, Cass. Take care. But I think there's just enough ambient light coming in through the door where your dark vision should be more than enough to see whatever may be in there. Okay, I'm going to close the dice giveaway. Kitty, please hit us with the roll. This will be our perception check with a modifier of +7. Natural let's go. Okay. So with a total of 20 freaking 7. Very nice. Taking a look inside the room, there are a couple of things that you immediately notice. First of all, as you approach the gap in the door, spilling out from the room is the overwhelming stench of decay. And the strange kind of acidic, almost taste in the air of blood. It almost kind of knocks you backwards, just how overwhelming the stench is. And as you take a quick look inside, you can see that as you kind of expect, there is splatterings of blood everywhere, and there is a steady stream of it that is making its way from the back of this hut, the back of this room, towards the left-hand corner of this hut itself, almost kind of making its way towards the door. You hear another bit of shifting coming from inside, and this draws your attention to the back left corner, where you can very clearly see there is a very large creature slumped over in the darkness. With your perception check as it is, you can just make out the silhouette of a large, furry, clawed creature. You can see it seems to have humanoid-like limbs, very long, elongated arms, legs, but it's very definitely not some kind of canine beast. The way that it is slumped over, sitting in this corner, indicates some kind of humanoid-like creature that is possibly asleep. It doesn't remind you of anything particularly natural, but the silhouette itself indicates some kind of humanoid-like beast. And from this, you draw a number of conclusions. And the most immediate thing is possibly some kind of werewolf-like creature. However, it strikes you as very strange that such a creature would be in this form during the day. So I am going to reset the poll here just to clear it out and ask you what you want to do. Pluck 5 hairs from it. So you are now aware that to the back of this hut, which is not very big, it's about 15 to 20 feet, there is a slumbering werewolf-like creature. And I need some instruction from you as to how you would like to approach the situation. Okay, we've got an incredibly split vote right now. So we're gonna have to come to some kind of consensus to move forward. So somebody is saying you should greet the creature. One is offering sandwich, which, you know, has a 100% success rate so far, so I can understand that. Throwing the sandwich, that seems like a waste of a sandwich. I wouldn't recommend that course of action at all. I'm positive he'll be nice. Sure. Why not, right? Sherman never takes me seriously? You've read these messages, right? Like, you're typing them, so I assume you read them. But some people, they just type so fast, you know? Okay, so we have at this point, overwhelming consensus that we're going to greet the creature. So, you very slowly open the door, just enough for you to get a really good look and let some of the sunlight into this space. And you kind of call out a simple greeting, waiting to see if the creature responds. The creature stirs towards the back, one of the legs extending ever so slightly, maybe in reflex, and knocking over a couple of objects in the room. As the sunlight begins to fill the space, not towards the back, but at least the front section of this hut, you can now very clearly see in the back right corner, there is, best you can tell, a human person that is very clearly had their entrails ripped out. And they are just kind of lying limply across its body and on the floor. Now, you would struggle to come to the conclusion that these two things are not related in some way. and the creature begins to stir. One canine eye opens, the other staying closed, as it stares towards you, meeting your gaze. You've interrupted my nap. Well then, what brings you to this strange neck of the woods? So, what do you respond? You can very clearly see at this point, as the creature begins to speak, these large canine fangs bared. And you see that the entirety of the chin area, the fur that surrounds the mouth, is completely matted in dried blood. Say there, have you seen a dog? I'm looking for a dog. You see no traces of a dog in this area, like an actual dog. I'm also going to get you to roll another perception check. So if you'd like to do a perception check to see what else you might notice about this creature as it speaks to you, feel free to enter with dice. And we'll still go with whatever option you're currently choosing to vote for. But we also want to make sure that we're finding out information in the process. Okay, I'm going to close the giveaway. So Kite, please roll the dice for us. Okay, so it does have a good modifier, so that brings us to a total of 10. There's something familiar about this creature's voice, but it's hard for you to place. It feels like you've heard it recently, but you're not entirely sure when. So you kind of slightly nervously murmur out into this room that you're here investigating a series of thefts that have taken place within the town of Willowdale that is not too far from here. The creature seems to be vaguely interested, begins to stretch their limbs, and you see, similar to how you are coming to some kind of recognition of this voice, this creature also seems to be recognizing your voice too. I'm just going to drink some water. So it listens to your tale, and you start to see these telltale signs, you know, the ears kind of flitting back and forth, the creature itself seemingly peering not just towards you, but also the surroundings, and also seemingly noticing the subtle movements of your allies outside. There's a moment where they just kind of raise one clawed hand to silence you. So I'm not the only one who survived that. Interesting little trip. I suppose I can thank you for that little tumble. And you are now very clearly putting the pieces together and realizing that this is the voice that you had heard on the other side of the locked cell door. The cell that you were told by one of the shipmates was a very dangerous prisoner that they were not to talk to under any circumstances. Of course, being you decided, yeah, fuck that advice. And you decided to talk to them. It seems as though whoever this is... sorry, actually, you know their name from last time, I remember. This individual is called Theon, and you know that they were one of the prisoners on the ship that was being kept in their own cell. A much more fortified cell than yours. The creature begins to get to its feet. Sees you've caught me at a little bit of a difficult situation here. Listen, I'm sure we can come to some kind of understanding. If it's worth anything to you, that one over there was technically dead before I got here. I just didn't want it to go to waste. What would you like to do? I think sometimes clearing the vote just makes more sense. Remember, you can also do an insight check to see if you believe them. Friends. Y'all are cute. You all are cute. Like the all cute. You are all cute. There you go. Nailed it. Okay. And remember, oh God, sorry guys, I forgot. I didn't put the channel points thing on. My bad. Let me just fix that real quick. There should be, the channel point reward should be on for the D&D stream. I am so prepared. Let me just fix that real quick while you guys decide what you're gonna do. Because one of those is a lie check, so... then it was check bonus, defense bonus, attack bonus. Waste your points. Turn all these off. Okay. So the channel point reward should be on now. Sorry about that. I literally remember thinking while I was making my coffee, I gotta make sure I do that. And then I didn't. Story of my life. No onesie D&D? No onesie D&D, I'm afraid. Maybe one day. I'll get some more D&D themed onesies and then we'll just pop off. Okay, so Shadow with the lie check. Okay. So we're going to do an insight check. This is still open to everyone, but essentially allows you to prioritize doing a insight check to see if somebody is lying before the results of whatever conversation takes place. Dragon onesie? There must be one, right? I know you can get like a toothless onesie, which would be pretty cute, but... I'm sure somebody's made one, right? I have a Spyro onesie. That's cute! Oh, a Spyro onesie would be awesome. I love Spyro. It's so cozy. Can I assume from this that you've stolen it once or twice, Bean, or... We also have Pikachu and Minions. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I should really... I'll do my next donation goal will be a onesie fund. Just get an entire wardrobe of onesies. We can do a onesie shopping stream. Okay, so I'm going to close the insight check. Bean! Bean, please roll the dice and we will find out what you determine from this person. Your insight is a +5. Okay, so a total of 16. As you look towards this creature, study it as best as you can as it speaks to you, especially the most recently spoken sentence. You get a sense that this individual is not to be trusted, but at this immediate point in time, you don't feel that they are lying about the fact that this individual lying in the corner, very clearly dead for some time, you're not exactly sure how long at this point without getting closer, they were dead before Theon arrived here. So Theon did not kill this individual, but very clearly has partaken in its flesh. Okay, so I can assume from this that we're going to stick with the friend option. So you offer a truce. You notice with your insight check that Theon seems agitated, irritated, possibly because they've been woken up from their nap, but also because they might feel as though they're at a little bit of a disadvantage in the current situation. It's sunlight outside. You don't know if that might have a significant negative effect on a creature like this. You can't immediately recall any details that would tell you that it would, but you imagine it probably doesn't enjoy it necessarily. Between the two of you, it seems like you can come to some kind of agreement not to fight each other immediately. But what I need to do is ask you what you would like to do next. It doesn't seem as though Theon is making any kind of aggressive movements towards you, but is also very clearly staying in the darker corners of this hut. So do you want to enter the hut and investigate? This may very well be the thief in the corner that you'd been told about, or are you going to leave and be on your merry way? You may have eaten Vegemite. Yeah, Vegemite will do stuff to you. Okay, I have a question for chat, not D&D related, but it is related to the current conversation. For those of you out there who enjoy, you know, the old Vegemite or Marmite, which one is better? Is Vegemite better or is Marmite better? Because I've had both. Vegemite's very big in Australia, but Marmite is very much English, so... You've never had it? It's hard to explain. Hugh Away, hey, welcome to the channel. Good to see you. Nice to see you putting in a vote there too. I appreciate it. Bean is a Marmite heathen. I've never had Vegemite. Oh, man. Yeah, it's kind of a moot point. Has anybody had both? Does anybody else have both? Or is it just me? Marmite is bet with butter on toast. 100% agree. Could not agree more. My dad, the Australian that he is, likes to have like a spoon of Vegemite with some hot water to make it into a hot drink. And I'm like, Dad, that's a bit much. Dad, come on now. I was so upset when I found out Marmite is vegan. Oh, devastating. It doesn't exist in France. You're not missing out on that much. I'm gonna be real. Like it's kind of nice, but I don't feel like your life is less for not experiencing it. You know. What are we doing? We're playing D&D. Okay, so you choose to enter the hut, and as you do, the full wave of this smell now filling your nose and entering into your lungs, and you're kind of fighting the urge to cough or spit on the ground just to get the taste out of your mouth of this putrid air. And you begin to look around the hut itself. The rest of your group decides to stay outside, minding the door. Alden occasionally approaches the doorway, but then decides to back off. This bird-like trilling deep within its throat, sensing some kind of danger or creature that it does not like. Hot water Vegemite? Yeah, just the steam from a Vegemite cup. Just imagine that. No, it's way worse. Smells like shit and rotting meat. So, you enter into the building. I will move everybody at this point in time. I'm going to put Theon on the board, but I'm going to make it kind of transparent at the back there. There you go. Perfect. So you enter into the hut. You start taking a look around. I need a... Let me just double check something real quick. I need a thing. I just need to double check what it is. Haha. Febreze? Technically, I mean, there is like magical Febreze. Like prestidigitation. It's a cantrip, a very low-level magic that cleans things. Just give him a couple of those, you know, give him the old finger gun clean. Just double check this. Okay, just double check this. What checks do we need? Okay, yeah, so first of all, I'm going to get you to do another perception check. Been a lot of perception checks. I probably should have taken one of the previous numbers, but I forgot what it was. So let's do a quick perception check, and then we will go from there. Just to see what you notice having actually entered into the room. It'll be a fairly quick giveaway. I want to move on to the subsequent checks fairly quickly. Okay, gonna close it. Okay, Herb, please hit us with a perception check. So this will have a +7. Okay, so a total of 16. Very nice. Thank you very much, Herb. So taking a look around, there are a couple of things that you notice, other than the things that I've already described to you. You actually also see traces of russet mold within this building. There are sections on the table where whatever creature has very clearly scraped some of its skin along it, perhaps not intentionally. But as you kneel down next to this this individual crouched in the corner with their guts spilling out, you notice the telltale signs of russet mold infection. The same discoloration of the skin that you had seen on Hunter earlier the previous day. So, as you look to Theon, you are also aware that Theon may have consumed infected meat. As you continue to look around the room, surveying it, you, sure enough, find various items of interest that indicate that this is, in fact, the thief that had stolen the pikes, the cage, which doesn't seem to be present now, but there are there's a lock and a key that's been removed from whatever this cage was. And there are also a series of tomes of books that are resting upon a table to your right-hand side. And taking a look at the titles on the bindings, these are the 2 books that were missing from Errol's shop. One of them is very clearly a tome detailing necromancy, and the other ritual magic. So, what would you like to do? So to recap there for a quick second, you know that this individual was attacked by Vegapygmies. They did not survive. They were subsequently, some of their flesh was devoured by Theon. This individual was also responsible, you can assume, for the thefts at the Hunter's Lodge and Errol Sprystep's library. As you look towards the tomes, you can see that there are a couple of pages which seem to be marked. Some of them with a leaf that is resting between pages, others with more standard bookmarks and pieces of cloth. So as you look around and you're taking in your environment, Theon just kind of whispers to you. So, I take it you're the leader here, correct? I mean, you're the only one brave enough to venture inside here, and I can imagine this would be a fairly foul sight for most people. You have a strong stomach. I'm sure we can find a way to work together. We are, after all, victims of the same circumstances, are we not? And he just asks you, so I could take it this was your thief? Holy, whoa, Herb, whoa. I mean, I respect it. So I'm going to need some feedback here, chat. I'm going to need to know what you're going to do immediately. Please remember that it's not like if you do one thing, you can't do the others. At this point in time, there isn't really a time-sensitive issue at hand. You're not immediately worried about Theon attacking you. You're not immediately worried about your allies outside. It's more a process of looking into a series of things. Okay, so first of all, you gather up the tomes. You place them into your bag of holding, which is a magical item that allows you to store more items than you could possibly hope to carry on your own, as it slips into the rucksack and disappears out of sight. Sit here and talk about our feelings. You may not have the best conversation with Theon about that, but you're very welcome to try. That's the important thing. You're very welcome to try whatever you want. It's totally fine. Okay, so what else have we got? Let's do a reset. So you've retrieved the tomes from the side. You aren't able to see the remainder of the stolen pikes or the cage immediately, but you can assume that they're nearby, possibly in the shed. But you have not investigated the shed yet. So I'll give you a couple of moments here to figure out exactly what you're doing. And we can go from there. I might just start taking a couple of different ones and just say you do all of them. You want to offer a sandwich? Yeah, you could offer him a sandwich. That's cool. Yeah, you've retrieved the tomes. You would need to investigate the shed if you want to look for the cage and the pikes. Okay. So you choose to back out of the room. You tell Roga and Trenk to keep an eye on Theon, who just kind of slumps over into the corner again, begins to kind of lick their paws, gnawing out bits of torn flesh from between some of them. And you check out the shed. Okay, so the shed itself appears to, at one point in time, have had a bolt lock on it. The lock, you can very clearly see, or you saw when you moved into the room, was removed. So it just is a matter of unlatching the door and then taking a look inside. So you do that. You very quietly slide the door open. And you are once again greeted with the scent of rotting remains. As you take a look inside and the sunlight begins to fill the space, you can clearly see that there is a fairly crude ritual circle that has been drawn into the ground, scraped out of the earth. And there is also the rotting carcass of some kind of animal that has been placed in the center. You see towards the back of this room, there is the cage that had gone missing, and there are also several pikes that are leaning up against the wall. What would you like to do? Ritual circle means bad vibes. Well, you can assume that this ritual circle was perhaps informed by, if nothing else, the book that was stolen. There was also the necromancy book as well, so... Checking traps. I like it, I like it. Alright, so I'm going to open a dice thing. This will be an investigation check. As you take a look around the inside of the door, and as best as you can from this distance, investigate the room to see if there's anything that may do you harm to step inside. Is asking the werewolf to transform us into one a possibility? I mean, totally, yeah. Lycanthropy! It's a solution! Said very little people, ever. Okay, so clothing giveaway. All right, Max, please hit us with the roll. I would like a investigation check from you. So this is a +1. Okay, so total of 4. Not the best roll. You take a look around. You would be surprised if there were any traps left here. But as best as you're able to tell, there are none anyway. You're checking as best as you can, and nothing sticks out to you. Now, you don't know whether or not that is because it is trapped and you didn't notice, or because it's just not trapped. Does D&D have a concept like rock, paper, scissors? Oh yeah, totally, yeah. We could play rock, paper, scissors, see who becomes a werewolf. For all the Westworld fans out there, it's just like, doesn't look like anything to me. Okay, so what are you doing? You've checked for traps. Are you going to enter the room, or are you going to be like, nah, fam? I still haven't watched season 2 yet, Avenger, and I'm really sad about it because I really love the show. But it's also one of those shows you need to be in like the right state of mind to watch it, you know? I think I watched maybe like 5 episodes of season 2 or something, and I think we were watching something else at the time, Tilly and I, and we just never got around to it. But we probably should. There's a lot of TV shows that I haven't caught up on yet. Okay, yeah, we can get back to it later, Elok. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you choose to enter. And as you enter, you get a little bit closer. I'm going to need a nature check from you to see if you can figure out what kind of animal remains these are. You don't seem to set off any kind of trap, which is a relief to you because you weren't entirely confident in your decision here. Doing your best to kind of avoid breathing in or inhaling the musky rot filling the air. You didn't quite check all of the spots that you imagine you might have any other day. Musky rot. Hey, Slow Turtle. Okay, closing the giveaway. Kitty! Kitty, please hit us with the roll. This will be with a +3 to the total. She can't lose! Holy crap! Actually cracked. Let's go. Okay. So, you doing your best to kind of turn just enough away that the draft coming through the shed doesn't draw the smell of this animal straight into your nostrils. You still get a very good look at it. It seems as though this poor victim of this cruelty was at some point a pig. This brings you some relief, and you realize that this is not Hugo, but all the same, it is sad to see an animal in such a state. This brings to mind the other option that you were offered to investigate the thefts that had taken place at the Cobblegage Farms. And you think to yourself, well, if this is the same thief, then it is likely that this was one of the other things that was stolen. It seems as though this poor little piggy passed away some time ago. For fuck's sake, Bean. But there are things about the animal that are very clearly disfigured and misformed. Limbs that don't seem to be in quite the right position. This creature is very clearly being affected by some kind of necromantic energy. The source of this ritual circle, you imagine. But whatever happened to it, it doesn't seem like it was successful. But it definitely did something. So, at this point, there are a number of things that you are beginning to pull together. This thief had clearly stolen instruments for transporting an animal, such as this pig. They'd stole the pig themselves. And then they had attempted to practice some kind of ritual magic, some kind of necromancy, and whatever was attempted seemingly was not successful, unless this was the intended result. Why this is taking place, you're not entirely sure, as the individual in question is dead. But you do also have the bookmarks in the tomes that you found, which may give you some hints about what might have happened. You still have Theon, who is still seemingly resting at the back of this hut. At points, you can hear these loud yawns and stretches. I feel... Hang on one second, chat. I'm going to reset this vote, but before I do that, I'm going to make the vote thing a little bit larger. Because I feel like it's cutting off your things here, and we don't like that. So I'm just going to make this... we tried this. Almost double the size. There you go. Okay, so feel free to add your vote in now. Sorry about that. I'll have a talk to Dane and see if we can make it so that it automatically stretches. Okay, so we got a couple of votes for reading. So that would essentially pull out a couple of these books and have a little bit of a power skim. Anyone who's been to university will be well acquainted with this method of reading. Read faster? Okay. All right, so choosing to investigate the tomes, you exit back outside the shed and you perch on a little bench around the side and you begin flicking through the pages to see what kind of information you find. So I'm going to need another investigation check from you to see what information you uncover. Okay, I'll give you a couple seconds and then we will see what the result is. Again, this will have a +1 to the result. Gonna close it. Herb, please hit us with another roll. I'm low-key excited to see when Kitty gets another roll, because I want to see if it's another natural 20. Okay, so a total of 16. All right, so flicking through the pages, there are a couple of things of interest that you find. Some of the pages seem to be marked to be much more significant, and you quickly figure out this system. It seems as though the more significant bits of information seem to have the more traditional bookmarking methods, while little notes and things like that are kind of just have objects, leaves, bits of cloth, things like that, just kind of loosely slung inside and over the binding. The information that you uncover is that the ritual magic that this individual was trying to activate is to do with some kind of resurrection. And there are a couple of notes left at the side of the pages, this individual clearly having scribbled on sections, crossing other bits out, drawing a couple of diagrams. This individual kept kind of like almost like a loose diary of thoughts in some of the cliff notes. They kind of ramble on about doing this to bring someone back. Somebody who had been lost who was very dear to them. And something about reversing the curse, as they called it. It seems, best as you can tell, this individual didn't seem to have necessarily ill intent, but you can very clearly tell from the way that they are describing things that they were getting increasingly impatient and desperate. And you don't know where this could have gone next, to what extreme they might have been willing to take this, because they were very clearly beginning to lose their mind. Possibly so, Kite. There is one other note in the book that just catches your eye, but it doesn't have a lot of explanation to it. And it just simply says, why are they taking so long? And that's it. Just one line that is just scribbled across a page. Like a mad rambling. So, at this point, fairly confident that you have found your thief. You have the items, at least the ones that are easy to carry. You'll probably have to leave the cage here, unless you intend to have one of your traveling companions carry it. It's probably not that dear to Hunter anyway. But you do not see any traces of Hugo here, but at the very least you feel as though you have figured out the source of the crimes that had taken place, the thefts. And luckily you feel that you have found this perpetrator before anything worse could have happened. Or to be more accurate, something found the perpetrator before it could have spiraled into anything more severe. What would you like to do now? You still have Theon, who's sitting at the back. You feel as though, all other things aside, your business is more or less concluded here, but you are also aware of the potential threat of the infestation spreading from this thief's corrupted flesh being passed on to Theon, the werewolf. Theon's made no mention of this, by the way. Finish ritual? You could try. I'll give you a little bit of time here to make up your mind. I know that laugh. Yeah, that's fair. The DM chuckle. Biggest party wins. You say that like I just don't use that as an excuse to throw more things at you. That's the flip side. Anybody who's in my private game will know that I throw out like magical items and NPC companions like candy, and the reason I do that is so that I can throw more horrible things at them. I appreciate that, Max. You know, you got to keep the balance, right? It's like, oh, why is he giving us this artifact, like legendary item? That's very nice of him. And then they're like, wait, hang on a second. What's the catch? There's an ancient black dragon around the corner. Okay, so you choose to warn Theon of the infection, that it may have passed on to him. Would you like to do a medicine check to see if there are any signs of the sickness spreading? I'm not gonna do a vote. I'll just actually, you know what? I'm just gonna get you to do a roll. So this will be a medicine check to see if he's showing any signs of infection. Okay, closing the giveaway. Can we get Trink to do the medicine check instead? If you want to. What's your medicine check, Trink? Oh, it's slightly higher than yours. Yeah, she's closed the door. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you can that's a perfect use of the system. So you can tell me that you want Trink to do it instead. All right, so Trink's gonna do a medicine check. Trink steps into the room and sheathing his spear across his back, asks Theon politely, very politely, to extend an arm, begins checking the claws for any kind of spreading sickness from ripping the flesh. Trink looks very uncomfortable, but is going to do the medicine check all the same. Let me close. We're gonna have to do it. Somebody has to do a dice roll. Kitty, just do a dice roll, and then we'll see if you get another natural 20, and it'll be hilarious. And then... Okay, it's not a natural 20, but, you know, it's still okay. All right, so with a little help from you, as you kind of hold your bow in one hand and take a glance over, you don't immediately see any obvious signs of any kind of spreading sickness. Trink is giving Theon a good checking over, for about 5 minutes, which feels more like 15. Takes a few moments and then lets out a very kind of dejected sigh. His shoulders slump. And then he holds one of Theon's claws up and then points to a specific section, like holding down the paw, and the claws kind of involuntarily extend, and then looks towards the rim where it meets the skin and disappears into it. And you can very clearly see that there is a brown discoloration that looks like rust. So it seems as though some kind of infection is very much starting to begin, like probably within the last hour or so. Trenk then moves back out for a private conversation. So, Trenk lets you know that he thinks at this level of infection, he could cure it using magic. But that means that he will have less to aid your group as you proceed inwards. He admits that he hates to present this kind of predicament any other day. He would be more than willing, but he asks you if you really, really think that this guy is worth saving. What would you like to do? I'm gonna reset the vote because it's very mixed of other stuff. You could cut off the claw. Or actually more accurately, you could remove the claw itself before the infection spreads into the paw. So you wouldn't be like chopping off the hand, you'd be removing a claw. So essentially, you know, he can use magic, you can declaw, or you could just leave and see if Theon figures it out himself. You're all having this private conversation outside. Don't tell him. My DM brain is like, I wonder what I would do to make a werewolf more intimidating. If he wanders off, he could spread it. That's definitely something that you know is possible. Absolutely. It is very infectious. Okay. So right now we have 2 votes for declawing, 3 votes. We'll do first the 4. So if there's anybody that wants to change their vote or would like to vote who hasn't already, we can go with that. Otherwise, I guess I'll just go with it. I'll just give you a couple of moments to make any changes you would like to make. Okay. So deciding that you are going to offer Theon the option to have one of his claws removed, I'm going to need a persuasion check from you, chat. Sokai's getting a little ahead of himself. It's okay. You know, it's okay. I get it. Man wants to roll dice. Who doesn't? Oh, you got him, Herb. I appreciated that. I thought it was good. All right, closing it. Christian. All right, Triple C. Let's see what you got. Persuasion check. It's going to be a -2. So you awkwardly try and fumble your way through a conversation with Theon, you know, explaining the merits of just removing one single claw as opposed to what could possibly be removing the entire arm, or worse, inevitable death. And it comes to a little bit of an impasse. Theon seems particularly fond of his claws and doesn't seem to be willing to part with them. Despite your insistence, it doesn't seem as though Theon takes you seriously enough and probably assumes that he'll be fine. And he'd rather not have you poking, prodding, and slicing and pulling on his precious claws. It's more a sense that he just doesn't really have any kind of belief in your ability or knowledge. He doesn't really think that this is a threat that he needs to worry about. And that you're just overreacting, and you're probably only thinking it's dangerous because you're weak and he's not. So Theon, not convinced. What would you like to do? Show my ability with my knife? Yeah! Do it to him. Present knife? I mean, you don't have a knife, but you do have a sword. I mean, I guess that's just a very long knife, so you could threaten him. Present long knife. There you go. Now it's just more accurate. Okay, cool. So I'm going to need an intimidation check from you, chat. This is actually going to use your strength modifier instead of your charisma. So we're going to be using the optional rule of variant skill checks. So this, you're actually threatening him with violence. So you are trying to present yourself in a way that is a lot more imposing. Your martial ability and your physical disposition showing that you are a force to be reckoned with. Okay, gonna close the giveaway. Sokite. Hit with the roll, please. Okay, so this would be a +3, I believe. Yeah, so this brings it... No, +2, sorry. So this brings it to a total of 17. So you draw your sword, and you slice through one of the chairs at the table, and then point the sword towards Theon. Saying that you will not risk any further chances of infection of this plague spreading, not just throughout the forest and infecting other animals, but possibly other people as well. Just like it did this poor thief that clearly was way in over their head. Theon, immediately as you draw the blade, you see all of the claws extend and Theon adapts a fight-ready posture, glaring at you and snarling as you draw this sword. But then very slowly backs down. And so, let me make this clear. You do so much as touch another one of my precious claws, and you will find them deep within your chest. Do we have an agreement? Do you have an agreement, chat? Fuck's sake, okay. Okay. I'll just wait for a couple more votes. Is this what happens when you play on a Friday? Like, everyone's just acting up, man, you know? It's the weekend. I mean, Saturday, damn. Turns out I'm the one who's not right. Oops. Oopsie. I had to run before Tilly. Run before Tilly? I'm just gonna stop. I should just end the stream. Whoa. Yeah, I'm gonna have a glass of wine after stream. Honestly, after I do D&D sessions, whether it's on stream or not, my brain is working too fast and I need to slow it down. Sambuca before Tilly? You're damn right. Okay, so you agree, and Trank is having to do a lot of surgery lately that he doesn't feel potentially... Trank doesn't feel particularly qualified to do this much surgery, but nonetheless is the best at it out of your current companions, so agrees. Okay. So, with advantage, because you are helping, I'm going to do some rolls here. So that's a total of 16, and that's a total of 22. Okay. So, it takes both you and Roga pinning Theon to the wall to stop him from fighting the surgery as it happens. Constantly attempting to negotiate, attempting to remind Theon if you're going to hold up your end of the deal, you need to stop fucking squirming or he's going to lose an entire hand, and not because it's Trank's fault. About an hour passes between removing the claw and then also bandaging the wound and making sure that it doesn't have any lingering infection or isn't at risk of getting infected by other means. You feel confident that the surgery is complete and has been done to a high enough standard that the infestation shouldn't be an issue for Theon, and that they will be safe at this point to continue doing whatever the hell they're doing without worry. So, it is currently approaching midday at this point. What would you like to do now? I don't know if it is your intention to get Theon to travel with you. That's not a question that you've asked. But you can continue on and leave him here if you would like. Now kill Theon. After all that, you look to Trank and say, I just wanted to see if you could do it. Yeah, poor Trank. He's doing his best. He's a good lad. There's actually 2 for finished ritual. Wow. Amazing. They're amassing more. By the time we get to the next area, we'll be so far away from the ritual, we won't be able to do it anymore. Thank Trink for his hard work. That one's free, chat. Done. You do it. Trink looks incredibly nervous in the presence of this creature, especially the idea of aiding something that is very dangerous and has potentially committed much worse crimes in the past. He imagines as this individual was locked up fairly securely before the airship crash, but nonetheless thanks you for your compliment and for your reassurance. Trink is so small. Yeah, Trink is tiny. Trink's a halfling, the smallest race in Dungeons and Dragons. After, I don't know, yeah, pretty much the smallest race in the original game. You can't even imagine my surprise when I first started playing Dungeons and Dragons and I realized that halflings were smaller than gnomes. For some reason, that just didn't compute with me. Yeah, gnomes are bigger than halflings. Yeah, they actually are. It's wild. You always imagine that gnomes got to be the smallest one, right? But they are actually taller than halflings. It's canon. It's the hat. Must be the hat. It's all in the hat. I know. It's crazy. It took me a year to find that out. How the fuck is Trink so loud? What's wrong with him? Listen! He's got that chunky armor on, alright? It's not his fault. He's doing his best. I imagine he talks like that sometimes too. Yeah, it's true, Max. It's very true. And also in most fantasy games and stuff, you usually have gnomes instead of halflings, right? And gnomes are always the smallest race in those games, so I think you just kind of jump to the conclusion naturally that they're the smallest possible thing that you could play. Okay, so you decide to part ways. Not entirely sure what Theon might be getting up to, but at the very least you have discovered and uncovered the situation surrounding the thefts. You now have enough information that you feel confident that you could return and collect your reward for that task. But you've also decided in this moment that partnering up with Theon is probably not a good idea. So you decide to part ways for now. Theon, just a parting phrase as you leave, just simply says, "Oh, I'm sure we'll see each other again soon enough. Toodles!" As you disappear back into the forest tree line and look for the tracks once again, I need a survival check to see if you pick them up again. Lie check? Oh, okay, never mind. This is an insight check. Nice one, Sokai. Yep, that's how it works. Too thick, too stealth. Okay, so this is going to be an insight check. All right, closing the giveaway. Maximus. Hit us with the roll. This is +5. Ooh, 24. Okay, so you take one glance over your shoulder as the rest of your group exits from the hut and you all begin to walk outwards, and this parting phrase is muttered to you. You notice that Theon says this through gritted teeth, and there is an immense amount of not sarcasm. Sarcasm is not the word I'm looking for. There's an immense amount of hostility, thinly veiled hostility. Let's put it that way. There's an immense amount of thinly veiled hostility in the way that Theon speaks to you in this moment. And you definitely get the sense that there is some resentment, regardless of the fact that you have helped this individual. You get the idea that probably this entire time, the only reason why he has not attacked you is because he knows that he won't win in this circumstance. Clearly harboring some kind of resentment for your interaction back on the airship. So he's fickle, perhaps. Dangerous, yes. Violently inclined, absolutely. But not stupid enough to pick a fight that he knows he can't win in a situation that is not favorable to him. And he seems to have no gratitude for the deed that you have done. Oh yeah, so I added that in this week, Herb, just because I realized it was probably really important. I think it's like, if you know D&D, then you kind of know that there is going to be graphic description of some things, but I also want to make it clear to people that there are lines that I won't cross, but that there are some things that I do want to feel free to explore within the campaign. So that's why I decided it was important to add that one in there. Just for people who don't know or may not, be prepared for it. Okay. So let's move on then. Now we need to do that survival check. Sorry, that's where we did the insight check instead. So I need a survival check to see if you can pick up the tracks of the Vegapygmies again. While I do that, I'm just going to double check some information. La 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 la. Okay. Got it. All right. Oh shit, you guys actually want to turn around and fight him? That's a good point. I thought it was like one person who voted for that. Are we going with this? Okay, I'll reset it just to make sure. Do you actually want to turn around and fight him? I didn't even notice. Do you want to leave or do you want to fight? Well, let's simplify it and let's just turn it into leave or fight, because people are gonna like do different phrasings and stuff like that. Call him a little bitch. Wow, language. Okay. I think that's yeah. Okay, cool. So you take a few moments as Trenk notices you stop and sort of clench your fist as you realize the intent behind the statement that Theon has made. You draw your bow and you just look sternly at Trenk, and he just heavily sighs and then draws his spear from over his back, and you reapproach the hut. So this is instead going to be an initiative check. So I am going to do that. Closing the giveaway. Avenger, please hit us with our initiative roll to start off this combat as I switch the music. All right, Avenger, what have you got for us? Ooh, okay, so that's a +5, so 24. That's hot. Okay, 24. Perfect. All right, let me switch the music now. Where are you, music? Where are you, music? Okay, here we go. So, as you approach the building, weapons drawn, you hear scuffling from inside the room, and you hear the cracking of glass, the smashing of glass towards the back of the hut. Theon is very clearly aware. Although you are not directly within line of sight, you imagine that this is something that he was potentially prepared for. So you're not going to be catching him unaware. We start at the top of initiative with you, chat. So, what would you like to do? I will position your party a little bit more as you would be, which would be about here. Trenk is right next to you. Roga's just a little bit further back, and Alden is behind you. Do you have anything to set the hut on fire? You could if you wanted to, yeah. You have a tinderbox. You could very easily light the straw roof on fire if that's what you wanted to do. So I'm going to remind you guys, because it's been a while since we did a combat, of the options you have available to you. You, as a ranger, have a series of, or you have several different things that you can do. You can use Hunter's Mark as a spell to do extra damage to the creature. If you want to get that bonus first, you'd have to do that before you attack. You can obviously also switch weapons to a sword or anything like that. Owlden will also act on your turn if you order him as a bonus action. Okay, so opting to use your Hunter's Mark first. That is going to mark off one spell slot. So, as you move around the corner, you see Theon, who seems to be scrabbling out the back of this hut, having smashed a window open. He's just within your line of sight in time for you to mark him mystically with your magic, and then take a shot if that's what you would like to do with your action. So the next action there being, and it is a part of the same turn, you draw your bow, you let loose an arrow, and I need an attack roll from someone in chat. Okay, closing the giveaway. Christian, please hit us with an attack roll with our bow, please. This will have a modifier of +8. And if you hit... Okay, so 19 and a very clean strike with a total of 27. You let loose the arrow. Just as Theon turns and notices you entering the line of sight of the doorway, you fire off this shot, and it sinks straight into the clavicle, just missing his heart. That then would be because you've Hunter's marked a total of... Where's Hunter's mark? +3 damage. So a total of 13 damage dealt to Theon. What would you like to do with Alden? Alden can't attack this turn, but Alden can move. Yeah, that's a big hit. Hunter's Mark is a lot of extra damage, especially at this level. So with this, we can kind of just say stay or move. Just to see what Alden does on this turn. Stay. Okay, so we'll move on pretty quickly from that. All right, so with that, let me reset this. All right, so Alden kind of moves up a little bit behind you, but does not make any immediate moves towards Theon, who is now tumbling out of the back. That brings us to Theon's turn. Theon exits through the back window. And you can hear them moving into the tree line. And you do not have line of sight on them at this point, as they disappear behind a couple of trees, entering the forest itself. So you are not sure how far they have gone, but you can hear them disappearing into the forest itself. That would then bring us to Trink. Trink moves up as far as he can get, using his action to dash. And then shouts the obvious. Just, oh, fuck, he's making a run for it. Do we chase? Okay, what do you do? Do you tell him you're going to chase? Okay, pretty unanimous. So you begin your chase here. So we've got 20, 25. Trank makes it to about here. He is now out of line of sight of you, but you can hear him moving through the undergrowth, stamping on twigs as he goes. That would then bring us to Roga, who knows just enough common to follow this conversation. Also pursues, almost catching up to Trank in the process. And that brings us back to your turn at the top of initiative, chat. So what would you like to do? Let me reset the vote again. So you're going to chase. So I'm assuming the first thing you do is you move up. Which direction are you going to go? So we've got some more specifics from Herb there. Chasing left. Because you can go around this way or you can go around the other side. Okay, so deciding to chase left, you use your full movement, which gets you to here. Just around the side of the house, you can see movement straight ahead. It's off the map, but we're going to have to go into Theater of the Mind here. You can take a shot from where you are, but you are aware that the shot will be harder to hit. Mechanically, what this means is that Theon will have 3/4 cover, which increases the chance that you will miss them. But what would you like to do next? Do you want to attack? Or you can use your action to dash to get even closer. It's up to you. Attack or dash, essentially. You still have Hunter's Mark on. You have a vague sense of the direction that Theon is traveling, but no specifics. Okay, so choosing to dash, you also disappear into the tree line. You can see that Theon is about 15 feet in front of you. What would you like to do as your bonus action? So at this point in time, you've used Hunter's Mark, so you don't need to do it again, but you can order Owlden to do something with your bonus action if you want to. So what would you like to order Owlden to do, if anything? Okay, so ordering Owlden to follow. Owlden takes a more direct route, coming up the right-hand side. What's Owlden's speed? Let me just double check. 40. Okay, so the fastest in the group, actually. About to here. Rushes past Trank and is right by your side with his action as well to dash. So side by side, you are in pursuit of Theon as he disappears into the forest itself. As Owlden rushes forward, you hear this startling battle cry. This strange snarling sound from this owl bear-like creature as it growls and shrieks in murderous pursuit. That would then bring us to Theon's turn. Okay, yeah, that's what Theon's gonna do. Okay. So Theon disappears out of your sight. And you don't directly have an eye on him. You're not sure if Theon has darted, magically disappeared, or somehow managed to disguise himself in the surroundings, but you no longer have a sightline on Theon. That would then bring us to Trank. Trank moves up. Can't see anything, is going to make a perception check. Okay. Oh, no worries, Go Turk. Hey, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Take care of yourself. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. So, Trank shakes his head, looking towards you. Doesn't seem to have an idea of where Theon has gone, but is going to proceed forwards. At this point, Roga is going to do the same. Just following Trank's lead. And then we have your turn again, chat. What would you like to do? You currently cannot see Theon. You can see Trank and Roga have now moved up in front of you. Owlden is by your side. You feel as safe as you possibly can be, but you do not know where your mark is. Yep, so as Herb has keenly pointed out, doing a perception check is a valid option. This might allow you to get a better sense of where Theon might be, regardless of whether or not they have moved further on or may be hiding somewhere in wait. Thank you very much, Herb. Okay, so I'm going to do a perception check, so if you want to enter the dice giveaway. Check bonus. Oh, okay. Cool. That'll definitely make things more interesting. Okay, remember you can still enter the perception check here, guys. If you would like to do the perception check yourself. Gonna close it in 5 seconds here. Closing it up. Bean, give us that perception check, please. Okay, so that is a plus 6 plus... Okay, so 6 plus 7 brings us to a total of 13. As you look out into the wilderness, you don't get any better sense of where Theon might actually be hiding. You do still have your movement. So would you like to continue on? It has been your action to do the perception check. Okay, searching left. Okay, so you move off to the left with your movement, taking you a little bit ahead of the pack. You still do not see any kind of track or trace of where Theon might be. For all intents and purposes, it feels like he's just disappeared, but you feel like there's got to be more to it than that. That is the end of your movement and your action. What would you like to do as a bonus action? Alden is back here. Alden will act on his own, but we don't know exactly what that will be unless you order them. So what do you want Alden to do? Come here! Any more votes for what Alden is going to do in this current situation? Okay, so you tell Alden to follow. Alden, eager to oblige, stampedes through the undergrowth, trampling anything in his path, and is soon back beside you. That's just movement. So we can get Alden to do a perception check, if you would like, as Alden's action. What's Alden's perception at the moment? +2. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna need a dice roll from you then. This one is for Alden's perception check to see if Alden can pick up a scent. Closing the dice giveaway. Oh, sorry, Herb. I forgot to talk about that narratively. You did the check for it. So as you looked around, you started to hear these strange whisperings in your mind, and you could see this strange spectral energy coalescing in areas of the environment, seemingly wisping through tree, branch, and undergrowth. And then they kind of just circle back, and then they seem to enter back into your body. Unable to locate your prey. The spirits that you often find yourself in the company of not managing to give you any significant aid in the circumstances. Closing the giveaway here. Okay, Herb, hit us with the owl den perception check, please. Oof. Oof, baboof. Okay, so Alden begins to sniff the ground, peer around the area intensely, but again looks to you with a look of confusion and a slight amount of shame on his face before returning to the seriousness of the situation. We are then at Theon. You need to roll something. Okay. That's fine. We are then at Trenk. Trenk is going to do a perception check. Seeing you also look around, all of you slightly confused with no real indication or lead to tell you which direction to go. Okay. Doesn't seem to have much more luck. Roga as well. Okay. So at this point, all of you looking towards each other, it doesn't seem as though any of you are able to pick up the tracks. It doesn't seem as though any of you are able to pick up the tracks of Theon. You all have no idea where he's gone. I'm just going to double check something real quick. Yeah, okay. So, with that, we are back to your turn, chat. What would you like to do? At this point, it is pretty much, would you like to do a last check and or abandon the chase? You can do another perception check and hope you get lucky. Well, you as players hope you get lucky. Okay, closing. I'm gonna need another perception check from you, chat. So enter with dice, please. I think we'll probably do another one for Alden too, and then we will see if anything happens. No worries, Herb. You'll get him next time. Closing the giveaway. Bean, please hit us with a perception check. Okay, so that brings it to a total of 14. Looking around, a fair amount more discerning this time around. You feel as though in any other circumstances, you'd be able to pick up a trail by now, but you're just not able to find anything that gives you any kind of strong indication. As you're looking around, there are a couple of areas where you think maybe, just maybe, Theon might have gone this way or ducked under here or gone over there or up here, but there are too many options and you're not getting any kind of information back from your perception check that tells you which one it might have been. I'm going to assume we do the same thing for Alden, so I'm going to open another perception check. So this perception check is going to be for Alden. Hey, no worries, Kitty. See you in a little bit. Okay, closing the giveaway. Bean again. Okay, Bean. No pressure. Bean redemption arc. Let's go. Oh, no. Okay, not today. Maybe later. So, Alden, following your lead, seemingly just as disappointed in finding no indication whatsoever as to the disappearance of Theon. I'm going to do the final perception checks here for Trink and for Roga. Okay. So with that, we are going to leave initiative, as it doesn't seem as though Theon, wherever they are, wherever they have gone, is not making an attempt to try and ambush you. So I'm going to switch the music. So frustrated, you all regroup and realize that you started a fight, and it's not that you couldn't have won it, it's just that your opponent was a little too nimble, and you were not, as a group, collectively focused enough to pick up the trail. As you began this fight, realizing in that moment that this was a fight you're going to need to take at some point in time, Theon very clearly in a fairly disagreeable mood, for reasons that, as far as you're concerned, are completely unjustified. You decided to take that fight early. Unfortunately, upon starting it, you didn't realize just how nimble your opponent was, and they disappeared into the forest, and you lost track of them. So at this point in time, your only real option is to continue on and see if you can pick up the track of the Vegapygmies. For the third time, I will ask you to do a survival check to see if you can pick up the Vegapygmy trail. So if you'd like to do a survival check with a lot less consequences on the line, feel free to !dice. By doing so, you will enter a dice giveaway, and you will be able to roll it to see what the result of our survival check is. I'm going to open this stack bar. Here, I'll give you the option now. Does anybody want to finish the ritual? I'm going to need at least 4 votes. And there will definitely be no consequences to this action whatsoever. We got 2. Amazing. Halfway there. Three. My God, Max, it's happening. Uh-huh, 100% Kumiko. I want you to know I've never lied to anyone ever. Especially not for my own amusement. Never done that before. Falcon's like, you fucking what? I'm never gonna forget those Among Us games, man. That's a memory. It was so good. Oh, man. Good times. Okay. Hey, Vibing, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome, welcome. Well, you didn't get your 4th vote. I'm sorry. Closing the survival check dice. Christian! Here's with the survival check, my friend. Let's go, dude. Okay, so it's not in a massive roll, but it does have a good modifier. So 8 plus 5 brings us to 13. It takes you about 30 minutes of searching, but eventually you do pick up the trail once again, slightly over to the east, and you begin back on your journey to wherever these footprints might lead you. Ever wary of the fact that you have just angered a predator that now lurks in the forest, you proceed with caution Okay. So I can remove this. No Pepe laughs needed right now. So you continue your travels, following whatever leads you can find, the occasional signs of broken undergrowth, and then at other times, footprints in the ground. You're hot on the trail. It continues to lead you northeast for about another hour. At this point, you're at least 5 miles out from the town, so you have traveled a considerable distance by foot. It seems as though these Vegapygmies, almost a pilgrimage of sorts, to go from wherever they were located, traveling all the way to Willowdale and then all the way back. We are then going to move up to here. I need to open something real quick. That's the one. Okay, so within the hour, you start to hear the sound of running water and a small river that shores up against your side of it with a fairly large, elevated, almost an island of sorts off to your left atop a cliff that reaches up about 20 foot or so. Keeping a keen eye out, you don't feel as though you're being pursued. Either by whatever creatures may lurk that you're expecting, or ones that you might not, such as a werewolf, for example. We are now going to switch to this map. I can now minimize this as well. Okay. As you enter this new section of forest with the river off to your left, you are starting to notice much more tracks. The signs of bustling activity around this area, and you start to get the sense that this might be some kind of congregation point for the Vegapygmy colony. It is still daylight, it is still noon. You're aware that this affords you some degree of safety as you travel, but now that you're getting closer and closer to this nest, or whatever it might be, you're aware that the threat of being attacked is ever increasing. So, as you notice these tracks, are you going to start proceeding cautiously? Are you going to start proceeding cautiously, or are you going to proceed at your usual pace? Opening a poll. Any bears? Any bears on land? I'm going to also see if I can get some water sound in here. Is there any water? Maybe not. Let me try opening another tab. Maybe here. Yeah, there we go. So the river running off to your left. The sounds of nature, ever present. What do we got here? So, We've got a lot of split votes here, so we're going to need to get some kind of conclusion. Otherwise, I'm going to make you do all three at exactly the same time. And that will be, among other things, very silly. Want to check for possible ambush? Yeah, so that would be like moving cautiously. And then we'll do both a stealth and a perception check to see what you see, what you notice as you move. Are you threatening us with a good time? Maybe. Maybe. Okay. So deciding to proceed cautiously, I need, first of all, a stealth check. So if you want to enter the dice giveaway. And then we will do another check after that to see how perceptive you are feeling, to see what you notice about the environment, including any potential ambushes lying in wait. Wow, I'm struggling. I haven't played D&D in a long time, actually. Hey, Hell Skeleton, welcome to the channel. Proceed cautiously while whispering loudly. Like a stage whisper? Leroy Jenkins. So if you would like, Hell Skeleton, what you can do is you can type !dice, and that will enter you into a giveaway. And if you win, which will be shown on the screen, then you will be able to roll to see what you get for the stealth check that we're about to do. Obviously, entirely up to you. Just letting you know that the option's there. You don't need to know anything about the game or modifiers. All that's going to be done on my end. You just get to roll the dice and enjoy the feeling. So I'm going to close the stealth check, but there'll be another one after that if you want to get involved. So, Max, please roll the dice for us and see what we get for our stealth check. Okay, pretty damn good. So that's a +9 for us at the moment. So that is absolutely massive. I'm going to roll for your companions. Okay. Okay. Trenk, as ever, the one who needs babysitting the most. He's honestly trying so hard. But at least he's consistent. You know what to expect. You know traveling with Trenk has many, many positives. But there's one thing you always need to be aware of it. And you're glad that you are in this moment. As the rest of you continue to move quietly, Trenk requires extra assistance from everybody involved. But you feel that as a group, you're moving very, very silently through this area. You proceed on. I'm going to need a perception check now to see what you notice as you travel. I like that it's not ambiguous, you know? Sometimes it's like, yeah, I mean, he's not got a good modifier, but he keeps rolling high, so maybe he is good at stealth. It's just like, no, he's just shit at it. There is no other interpretation. Still imagining his armor make a trank noise every time he steps. Just goes, drink, drink. Drink. Welcome back, Kitty. Hope you're feeling fresh. Get this man some oil. Yeah, mans needs some WD-40. Okay. So, closing the giveaway. Bonk. Max again. Let's go. All right, Max. Hit us with a perception check. This is with a +7. Yeah, the good old double roll. Okay, again, a very strong roll. As you listen out, you can hear some kind of unusual movement that you don't quite expect. Over, slightly in front of you and to the left and to the right. There seem to be 3 sources of movement off in the distance, about 20 to 30 feet away, that cause you to momentarily pause and motion for your companions to do the same. So I'm going to show the map now. So, this is your group down here, as usual. You can hear movement from here. In fact, I'll make a new layer so I can kind of indicate exactly where you're seeing this, hearing this movement, sorry. You're hearing movement from, I'll do, from around here, and from around here. What would you like to do? Opening the poll. You relay this information to the rest of your group, and they're all ready to follow your lead, whatever that might be. You do not know if it is the sound of hostiles. You just know that there is movement in those areas. You're hearing the snapping of twigs occasionally, and from the center in particular, you hear a loud creaking sound of shifting wood. Run it down mid. I know all about that. So I can only support this decision. I know all about running it down mid. Offer WD-40 for that wood. Ooh. Sometimes simple problems need simple solutions. WD-40. Imagine being sponsored by WD-40 as a streamer. That would just be a little much. Okay, so what do we have here? Running it down mid? I mean, I'm fine with you running down mid, but you're going to have to be wary of that. If that's not what you want, you're going to have to put some suggestions in here, chat. Because we're about to run it down mid. WD-40 for gamers. Dude, if I could put WD-40 inside my wrists to lubricate, I would. I would do it, like right now. Slap some LEDs on. True. Yeah, that's true. It's a good point. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds here. Right, go left flank. Okay. So are you going... I'm gonna reset this vote. Are you going alone or with your group on the left? Alone or as a group? As this may have impact on the success of this flank. I'll go for first to 3. First to 3. Okay, there it is. First to 3. So going alone, you move off. Oh, almost on the wrong tool there. You move off to the left very, very quietly, informing your companions that you're going to go check it out. I just need to bring up a picture here of what you see. Oh, wrong screen. Wait, what? Sure. Can I open that? Right. Okay, so what you see as you approach this tree is something very unusual. At first, you kind of dismiss it as a clump of vines that stretches up across this bark of this tree. But you actually see that it seems to be some kind of growth as opposed to something that is just kind of naturally winding up it. And there are a couple of features about this viney growth that you notice are particularly unusual. It seems to have an assortment of limbs, as if some human or other race made of pure vines has pressed its entire body up against the tree and is just kind of there, completely stationary. For every so often, you see a single vine that seems to wind its way up or shift through its form. And you see what is essentially one of these creatures. A vine blight. A creature that you are actually aware of. Something that you have seen before. Its form at this point squashed up against the trunk of the tree itself. Seemingly just there, inert, not aware of your presence. But as you sit there and you wait and you watch, you observe, you do see that every couple of seconds or so, its form seems to shift ever so slightly. You see a couple of vines that enter into the ground and kind of squirm like worms into the soil. This creature is very much alive, just not aware of your presence. What would you like to do? Resetting the vote. In a similar way to you have before, you have an opportunity to ambush this creature if that is what you want. You are aware that vine blights are stronger than vegapygmies, so it may not be as easy, but you also don't know how many other creatures may lie in wait that may be alerted by this creature itself. So what would you like to do? The vote is up. You can continue to sneak around and not alert this creature immediately to try and suss out any other threats. Or you can attack it, or you can do something else entirely different. As these are only suggestions, and it's important to me that you have all of the choice that you should be afforded for a Dungeons & Dragons game. So what are we doing? Let him vibe. I like the idea. He's definitely vibing. Among other things. Oh, my wrist pains. Okay, so we're 2 and 2. We'll go first to 3. First to 3, and we'll go with that option. Okay, there we go. So deciding to check out the noise in the middle, you continue to go around. This time, not walking directly in front of this creature's line of sight. You opt to go around the back. As you approach, you can see that this central tree has an unusual amount of movement to it. You can see that the tree branches are swaying independent of the wind, as if the tree itself seems to be alive. There is one other thing that you notice that catches your eye. There's a small parting in the lower roots as they enter the ground on your side of the tree. I would like to get a perception check from you, chat. So if you'd like to roll the dice to see what you notice about this tree, because there's definitely something that catches your eye around the lower root area. Good luck, Max. Okay. Closing the giveaway. Bean, please do our perception check. It has a +7 to the modifier. Okay, so a total of 18. So focusing intensely around the bottom of this tree, you see that the entranceway seems to periodically widen as the roots kind of spread, and there's a fair amount of soil that gets knocked up into the air as dust as it does so. And you watch as you see a small animal appear from the darkness below the tree itself, like this is some kind of doorway that goes underground, some kind of burrow that reacts to the presence of a rat that just scuttles out from it and then disappears into the undergrowth. They're currently trying to dip an entire slice of pizza into one Domino's dip pot. That is risky business. You should roll it up and then just go. Problem solved. If I've learned anything today, it's that rolling a pizza is somehow not worse than cutting it with a fucking pair of scissors. I can't get over it. Okay, so you're aware of some kind of underground entrance below this tree, but you're aware that this tree itself seems to have a life of its own. What would you like to do? You still have one more noise that has not been investigated. You can't get over it. I can't get over it. I'm the one being shamed here. I'm the one being attacked. All I've really learned is that none of you own a good pair of kitchen scissors. That's all I've learned. It's not my fault that you're all ill-equipped to deal with the kitchen. We buy our pizza pre-sliced like civilized people. Weird. So weird. Actually, one trend I noticed when I was in Sweden, every time I bought pizza, you know, the 3 times that I've been there, they never slice the pizza for you. Is this a thing that you found as well, Kitty? They never cut the pizza in Sweden? Everywhere I went, all the different pizza places, they didn't cut the pizza for you. I'm used to it, so I don't know. Oh yeah, see, yeah, you know. I just, you know, I'm just saying, I feel like you mutilate the pizza most of the time when you cut it with anything else. What, you guys just haven't tried. If you try it, I guarantee if you try cutting a pizza with a good pair of kitchen scissors, you will be in awe of how effective it is. Investige right noise. Let's go. Okay, so you decide to investigate the noise to the right. In a similar fashion, pressed up against the right tree, you see that there is another one of these vine blights also pressed up against the trunk. So mirrored on either side, seemingly as some kind of stationary guardians watching this central animated tree, you are aware of 3 potential threats in this area. So what would you like to do now? You're still back here. Your allies do not have any of this information. So you can either try to ambush one of them now, or you can obviously go back, or you can do some crazy shit like you sometimes do. You know, up to you. Just prompting you to give you some ideas of where to start with some of your thinking. Letter by carrier pigeon. You know, yeah. That, catch a pigeon, step 1. Travel 50 feet to find a pigeon. Try and catch it so that you could send a message 15 foot back the other way. Can I seduce the vine creatures? You could definitely give it a go. That is something you can attempt. It's like, you know what? We tried to seduce an elderly gnome gentleman. didn't work, but maybe, you know, that's not on me. Yeah, you have a -2 to persuasion. Yeah, okay, well, look at that. This is the thing, Kumiko. You gotta be careful. You know, Twitch Plays D&D, it's about responsibility. You really gotta think about, you know, oh, I'm just memeing, ha ha hee hee. And then all of a sudden, we're trying to flirt with a 80-year-old gnomish gentleman in his library. Things can get weird. Anyone else want to consider a vote for either option, or perhaps something entirely differently? Go back and plan. Okay. So you decide to circle all the way around. You don't notice any other creatures, and before long you are back with your group and you relay this information to them. All of them seem to be up for a fight if that's what you want to do. At this point in time, you're imagining that there's a good chance that the source of the Vegapygmy incursion is possibly in this underground burrow beneath this tree. So if you're going to continue to investigate the circumstance, which you don't have to, this is a complication that you'll have to deal with in some shape or form. You could try and sneak into the burrow unnoticed if that's what you wanted to attempt, but you are aware that that might be difficult. Do you have any dynamite? No. You do not have any dynamite. So I'm going to reset the vote. I would like to know what you would like to do. You can basically vote, you know, like fight, or you can try and sneak to avoid the combat. But you are aware that there are risks involved in either decision, so. As you do have these two sentries, these vine guardians that seem to be watching over the area, but it's not impossible, as many things are. So remember, with something like a group stealth check, as we've had to do, it's essentially determined by whether or not the majority succeed. If one person fails, it's okay as long as everybody else does well. Just have Trank sit around here while everybody else sneaks in. Yeah, do that. Split the party. Hey, guys, you should split the party. Like, I want to give you all the freedom in the world, but I'm just saying you should split the party. It's a really good idea. Does anybody else's cat have an obsession with tea bags? Literally anything that can move or can be moved? Yes. Oh, we don't have anybody doing recap today, do we? You know what? I'll write a quick recap. I'll do it myself while you guys figure out what you want to do. Recap. So, I'm going to put after an encounter with a poisonous vine, you rested for the night. Traveling the next day, you came across Theon, the werewolf, who was asleep in a cabin. Within This cabin was the thief you had been searching for, who had been killed by Vegepygmies the previous day. Theon had been eating this individual and had contracted the russet mold infection. You eventually decided to attack Theon, but he managed to escape. There you go. Recap done. Oh, I didn't do the edit com. Damn it. I can stream. I've streamed before. Edit com. Recap. There you go. That's the recap. So you're now in a situation where you've discovered an entryway deep underground below the roots of a living tree, an animated tree. And either side of this entranceway, there are two vine blights, these viney humanoid creatures that are guarding as stationary sentries. You decide that you want to attempt to sneak, so I'm going to need a stealth check from you, chat. So exclamation mark dice to enter the giveaway for the stealth check, and I'm going to roll for everybody else once we have that rolling. No pun intended. Trank for once, actually doing quite well. Okay. Okay. Roger that. Okay, closing the giveaway. Kitty, please hit us with the roll for the stealth check. We'll see how well you all manage to sneak into this burrow. Wait, I didn't see the roll. What was it, chat? Don't lie to me. You'll have to say it at the same time. Okay, so I know you're telling the truth now. Thanks. Okay, so that's a big old 22, I believe. So with that, your group begins to travel, choosing to go around the right so that you're not getting too close to the water, which may give away your presence when you're traveling with this many people. You walk around the back, and you find yourselves slowly approaching the break between the two large roots that sink into the ground. As you can see them moving ever so slightly, you're a little worried as each one of you, one by one, slips into the gap, doing your best not to make contact with the roots themselves. You all, surprisingly quietly, Trank seemingly really getting it together for this one, enter into the burrows themselves. There's a short distance at which you're all just kind of sliding downwards. It's quite claustrophobic, but only for about 10 foot or so before you drop out into a larger tunnel section. As you look forward, you can see that there are multiple dusty soil paths that branch off in different directions. Immediately in front of you, you notice 4 different paths, all variously sized, but all of them more than large enough for each of you to walk through fairly unimpeded. You imagine that Roga might have to do a pretty heavy crouch, but nonetheless, you should be able to travel through whichever of these tunnels you choose to take without too much hassle. So, I need from you, chat, a selection between 1 and 4. So I'm resetting the poll. So please vote 1, 2, 3, or 4. as you choose which one of these many winding and intertwining tunnels you will take, venturing further down below. Vote 420, that one's death. You literally spontaneously combust. It's really weird. I wouldn't take that one. In D&D 420, Blaze you. So I need a vote from 1 to 4, please, chat. You got to the joke faster? Yes! That never happens, so I'm very proud of myself. So now we have 1, 4, 5, and 420. I need you to get your shit together, chat. 1 to 4, please. Vote 4. Mob mentality, let's go. Okay, so you all huddle around deciding which path to take. It doesn't seem immediately as you check the surroundings that any of the individual pathways seems more inviting or more ominous than the other. At this point, you all agree it is more or less a matter of picking one and just going with it and seeing where it takes you. That's where we're going to end the session for this week so that I can prepare path number 4 and see where we go in these winding and potentially dangerous burrows that lead further underground into darkness. As you begin to walk and the natural light flowing through the entrance that you had dropped down through starts to disappear behind you, and you are now walking into uncharted territory.